Hello, welcome back to Firehouses Gaming. My name is Ben, and today we're going to continue on with Suzerain. Last time out, we managed to get our constitution passed through the Supreme Court, and held our mid-term meeting about the current status of our administration. Yeah, let's go and pick it up here where we left off. Looks like we got a newspaper and a couple of reports. So let's go and start with the newspaper. Why not? Alright, let's see here from the Whole Sword Post. Where are you? There we go. USP announces alliance with NFP. In what might be Anton Rain's boldest move yet, the president has decided to ally the United Sorland Party with Kasara Keebler's National Front Party. The decision was announced following a private meeting between Rain and Keebler and undoubtedly involved some compromise on Rain's side. The alliance could indicate a new, more nationalist direction for the USP, or it could simply be a partnership of convenience. I'm fairly certain it's both. Alright, let's check out the report here from Estord. Gang violence diminished. The police chief of Estord reported that the local police forces have finally eliminated one of the biggest money-making schemes of the Coronelli. According to the report, over the last month, 40 mob members have been arrested along with 3 high-ranking members of the Coronelli. Fantastic. Alright, and from Antel, whistleblower agent report. Agent Hailstones revealed intelligence about a secret nuclear weapons program developed in Rumburg. Our intelligence has verified the details related about a heavy water facility in the north of the kingdom and a ballistic missile test site. The agent will be provided with security under the protection program and will be given resources to transfer further intelligence to our units. Fantastic. Alright, so let's head to the Whole Sword and address the nation. Lucy and I walked into my office in the Maroon Palace to make my address to the nation speech. It was unusually crowded today. Cameras, lights, and microphones were set in place, and the crew was standing by, ready to start filming.
Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, let's do it.
Good. I think the crew is ready. As soon as you take your seat, we can go live.
I took my seat and rearranged my notes on the desk as a crew member powdered my face with a cotton puff. After everybody was ready, the director gave the sign to start filming. I looked directly into the camera. My fellow swords. Let's see. Let's go with the top one here. I'm happy to have this opportunity to talk to you about the changes we've undertaken in Swordland. 2 years ago, I spoke to you of change. We've accomplished that. Let's see here. Let's go with the second one. We need to remember where Swordland was 2 years ago. Those days are behind us now, and the change we brought has been real. Let's keep going the top one. We transformed a system that had caused endless confusion and resentment into one that is clear, simple, and efficient. Let's see. Go with that one. I have spoken with and received letters from thousands of you. I know how hungry you were for change. Make no mistake. Together, we can change Swordland forever. With my new powers as president, I will do whatever it takes to transform this nation into a global superpower. I will personally make sure that every change is respected and executed properly. Voices were raised saying that we had to look to our past for greatness and glory. We proved and will continue to prove them wrong. Let's see. Yeah, let's go with that one. The new changes in our system have planted the seeds for untold future successes. I pause to take a deep breath. With our reforms complete, our government will now focus on the economic development of Swordland. Let history say of us, these were the golden years, when Swordland was reborn and reached for her best. I'll remind you of the revolutionary phrase, morning will come, victory is close. I am now glad to say that morning has finally come. The future is in our hands. I took another deep breath. Lucian shooed a fly away from my forehead. For a swordland of courage whose servicemen and women, even as I speak, proudly stand watch on the frontiers of freedom. We're not here to congratulate ourselves on what we have done, but to challenge ourselves to finish what has not yet been done. The director gave the cut signal, the cameraman stopped filming. My speech was finished. Alright, I feel like that was a fairly decent speech. Continuing our theme of trying to feel some economic development, but not quite openly praising our fancy new dictator abilities. Alright, let's check out the last newspaper here before we move on. From Whole Sword Post, Rain, the future lies in our hands. In his address to the nation, a confident Anton Rain announced that with his constitutional reforms passed, the future now lies in our hands. The reform process was long and arduous, taking up much of Rain's first 2 years in office. Undoubtedly, the president is relieved to be able to move on and finish fulfilling his campaign promises. Fantastic. Alright, let's hit up the next turn here. Revelations. Nice. Okay, so looks like we've got a couple reports here. Can't see that one up there. Yeah, there it is. A couple of newspapers. Let's go start with the reports. Why not? Because we're already up here. Alright, from Rumburg. Queen demands reparations for 15-day war. Queen Beatrice Livingston has called for reparations to be paid for the so-called past atrocities that occurred during the 15-day war. Rumburg demands that the price of past wrongdoings must be paid if a path to peace is to open between the two nations. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is analyzing the situation and coming up with a plan of action. Well, plan of action is the old lady can get bent. We're not giving her money. Alright. And from Vezord, Gendarmerie Police Issue. Massive miscommunication between the Interior and Gendarmerie has resulted in a failed raid in Vezord. Ministry of Defense and Interior have both put the blame on each other. There'll be a gathering soon to solve the ongoing dispute within the security. Cool. Alright. Let's hit our newspapers. We've got two here from Geopolitico. First off, Queen Beatrice demands reparations for century-old alleged war crimes. Queen of Rumburg, Beatrice Livingston, brought up the S-Sword incident of the 15-day war, igniting the forgotten century-old debate of Swordish war crimes. She spoke about the need for peace and change in Eastern Marcopa, and that the way forward could only be walked if past atrocities are finally settled. Queen Livingston claimed that the Swordish army in 1870 had massacred ethnic Romans with plans of committing genocide. Swordland still hasn't claimed any responsibility for the past war crimes, said the Queen, and demanded reparations to be paid. Looks like she's just trying to manufacture some excuses for war. And in some more pretenses for war, hundreds killed in Helluland. Or 100 killed in whatever. According to the reports, riots in Helluland had already resulted in the arrest of thousands. The number of deaths is believed to have surpassed 100. The Ignorian government has still not released a statement about the bloody conflict. Riots in Helluland had exploded out of proportion in the aftermath of the murder of a Voglish Hellunder. The majority of the arrests and deaths belonged to the Voglish community in the island. The governor of Helluland claimed that the riots were being incited and supported by the Voxlandian government. Nice. That's going to be a problem. And since we agreed to recognize their claim over the island, we're going to get dragged into that war here pretty soon. But that's a problem for later. For now, we're apparently going to see Frank off. It was a cloudy, rainy day in Holzord. The gloomy weather couldn't dampen my spirits. My constitutional reforms had passed in court. I had won. That wasn't the only cause for excitement in the Rain household. Today, Frank was finally leaving home. My son piled the last of his bags next to the door. Serge and the assistant driver were waiting outside next to the car. Did you pack everything? Don't forget to give me a call immediately after you arrive. Mom, I'm moving less than an hour away. You'll see me all the time. I know, but it won't be the same. Monica helped him put his backpack on, while Serge started carrying the luggage to the car. I made you a sack lunch. I'll get it from the kitchen. She dashed down the hall. Frank and I turned to face each other in the doorway. So, I guess this is it. Gave you a second chance. Don't screw this one up. I know. I'll actually study this time. Frank shifted his weight nervously. I haven't forgotten what you told me about your university years. I hope Holzard State gives me a chance to prove myself the same way you did. Just don't do anything stupid. Frank looked down at the ground. Alright, Dad. that moment, Gianna rushed to the door.
Frog, gonna miss you.
I'll miss you too. Don't forget, you've got to give Mom and Dad extra hard time for both of us now. Gianna nodded.
Okay.
Frog picked up his sister and gave her a big hug. Monica appeared in the doorway holding a paper bag. I cut the crust off your sandwich just the way you used to like. I'm not a kid anymore, Mom. Can't Mother pretend? Oh, Frog. She embraced him with tears in her eyes. Frog looked as if he was about to cry as well. Serge approached.
Sir, as part of the schedule, Frog needs to be at Holsworth State University to start his orientation in an hour. We'll have to leave now to make it.
Thank you, Serge. Frog turned around and took one last look at me. Make me proud. Frog nodded before heading to the car.
It's difficult to see them grow and leave, isn't it?
Yeah, it's time for him to find himself in the world.
It will. We all did, after all. Living away from home, making your own choices for the first time, it changes a man. I think it will be a liberating experience for him. It's never easy for boys to live in the shadow of their fathers. It must be even harder when one's father is out on reign. A great man like you casts a very long shadow.
Not everyone thinks that.
Excuse my language, Mr. President, but the hell with him. You are my president, now and forever.
Well, if I have it my way, I will be president forever. I mean, he looked at his watch.
Time to go.
Frank waved his hand as he entered the car. The engine started and they were on their way. Monica stood next to me as I drove away. Her eyes were teary. There he goes. It already feels different. She put her head on my shoulder. He'll be fine. I know he will. At least he has a father he can boast to his new friends about. Anton the Great Reformer. Sounds good, doesn't it? We watched for a few more minutes, even after the car was no longer in sight. Nice. Alright. Looks like just the one report. Cool. So, from Vezord, Volkson harasses Swordfish ships. Volksonian Navy ships have steered a dozen Swordfish cargo ships out of the shipping lanes this week, leading to the Maritime Safety Organization to change its sea routes. The new path to United Kantana and Akazi is twice as long, but avoids potential contact with the Volkson Navy. Swordfish Navy Admiral has called the Volksonian actions reckless and a potential threat to civilian lives due to a high risk of collisions. The Admiral dispatched several frigates to protect the maritime borders. Cool. Alright, yeah, looks like we have an update down here in the country review that I missed. Military... Oh, dispute with the interior, such as about the gendarmerie. There's something going on in the Codex, too. Frank. Oh, so it's just saying that he's studying literature at Holsworth State University. Nice. Alright, let's check the news. Once more from Geopolitica. Okay. Volksonian ships harassing the entire Markian Sea. Recent reports from the Markian Sea show that the tensions in the region are at an all-time high. After the deployment of the Agnolian Navy around Helluland to contest the patrolling Volksonian fleet, both sides collided with each other on several occasions so far. In one incident, a Volksonian destroyer is said to have fired at an Agnolian cruiser. According to the Agnolian government, Volkson is trying to force its hand that the Agnolian Navy may need to properly intervene if left with no other options. Other reports came from Swordland, which have reported 4 of their sea vessels have been blocked and harassed by the Volksonian fleet. Brilliant. This little war over here is definitely getting closer and closer. Alright, let's head to Holsword for a discussion on the changes to the law. Lucy and I sat in my office waiting for Pater. I was at my desk and he was on the sofa, legs crossed.
Sir, I have some news for you. Mr. Hull and I have been working on several possible plans to boost the economy, as is our focus. He is currently compiling a very detailed report with suggested projects. I'll make sure you have a chance to see it soon. Before we move on, I want to present you the list of names I compiled for the Supreme Court, just as you asked.
Sweet, let me see the names.
Here, take a look.
He handed me a list of candidates for the Supreme Court. All the names on it were people who either supported me or supported my party. Crap, what am I supposed to do here? Alright, let me check the guide here real quick, because I think we're supposed to be completely reshuffling. But I did promise that other guy that we'd give him a job, but that was also mostly just to get his vote. So, I'm not sure here. Let me double check. Alright, so the guide doesn't really say, but it did say that we announced a complete court reshuffle, so we're just going to go for it. I decided to proceed with Lucian's list.
Very well, sir.
He looked at his watch again.
Looks like Mr. Vice President is late yet another time.
He lowered his voice.
I am slightly concerned about Peter. He seems to have his mind occupied. He's been late to almost every meeting we've had recently.
Yeah, I noticed it too. I need to talk to him in private sometime. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. It was Peter. He walked inside with files in both hands. Ah, gentlemen. Why are you so late? Yeah, we were stuck in traffic around Soul Square. There was a whole gaggle of ladies trying to organize an illegal march. We had to wait for the police to show up. He placed the files on my table, took out several documents, and organized them in front of me. That's everything you asked for. Here's everything just as you asked. I have plans for the next reforms. We can enact major laws within the decree power, so you have enough political capital now. What are your thoughts on Tom? Let's go over the documents first. Oh, jeez. Okay. Nice. Okay, so I found the section on this in the guide here. So it says to remove independence of central bank. So, where are you? Remove independence of central bank. So it says that will give us a boost economic development as well as extra budget that without having to take the loan at the end. So that's good. Alright, Fair Trade and Competition Commission. Over here, that gives us +1 economic development immediately. And Swordfish Radio and Television Supreme Council. That will increase our popularity and censors critical media sources, mostly the radical. And it will prevent any corruption from being leaked to the press, regardless of who's doing the leaking. Perfect. Oh, cool. Alright, so that's just some nice corruption there to basically censor the state media. Perfect. Alright, well. Yes, let's go with that. Perfect. Alright. Following a brief discussion, I took notes about my decisions. The central bank and its independence during Alfonso's term. Backtracking from that decision so quickly might be damaging.
But it will help us control the economy better. The state should have significant control over its own money to be able to plan ahead.
Edith would be pissed. He laughed. Well, that's anyway. Peter placed his finger on my notes about the Fair Trade Commission. That's a nice one. The commission will be essentially dealing with the monopolies. It was about time we established a body that regulates economic competition.
I very much support your decision to form a regulatory body for radio and television. Television is the future. It's great that we all understand this.
It would definitely help us have an influence on new media. So how would you structure the Supreme Council of Swedish Radio and Television? We'll have control over the council, which will have control over the media. You see where I'm going with this.
Of course, it'll be the perfect tool to manipulate the public.
Well, we both respect your decisions, Anton. Well, now that everything's settled, I should get to work. We'll catch up soon. Lucian looked at his watch.
We actually have 6 more minutes. But very well, let's call it here.
What an anal weirdo. Thank you all. Nice. Perfect. Alright. Yeah, cool. So yeah, those decrees should help boost our economy. But it doesn't hurt us in any real meaningful way, it doesn't look like. So, let's see. Looks like we just have the one report, but a whole ton of newspapers and other things to look at. Let's go and start with the report. See, from Gelsord, commercial activity increased. Commercial activity reports coming from the Ministry of Economics display that a record number of new companies are being founded in Gelsord due to an economic boom. The report also indicates an increase in the logistical intake and output of the city is driving the tech company growth. The Research Council of the city also has reported positive growth for the next 5 years. Gelsord also reported the most visits of passengers ever, with people from Oldsword taking the high-speed rail to see the city just for fun. The largest group of visitors are still scientists and students. Nice. Alright. So, from the journal, ordered a complete reshuffling of the court, and took direct control over radio and television. Cool beans. Political overview for factions. I'm not actually sure what changed here. I guess maybe it's Vulcan Kruger is now the key figure of the Old Guard, since we got rid of everybody in the Supreme Court. About the only thing I can think of there, but I'm not sure. And Judiciary. It's like we've completely changed that. Okay, cool. So yeah, we still have two Old Guard members, which is probably the old man that we promised to leave in there, or whatever it was with him. Notable justices is DDA May and Nia Morgna. Cool. Alright. Not entirely sure what's going on there, but that's okay. Sweet. Alright, country review. We've got media censored, which is apparently a red thing. Interesting. Swordfish government has the authority to ban the spreading of harmful and untruth information. Furthermore, individuals that are spreading said information are eligible to be arrested by the state. Perfect. That sounds like some really nice dictator nonsense. Cool, yeah, and there's our boost economic development. It's finally in the green, which is lovely. Alright, wow. Got four articles from the whole sword post here. The first up, Commission to ensure competition and fair trade. Reign administration has formed the Fair Trade Commission to ensure unchecked or causing capitalism doesn't take away from our citizens' quality of product and profits benefit from the loyal citizens serving their country. The new commission, overseen by experts from the state and private sectors, will create regulations to allow for fair competition and trade. In the end, our consumers will win by higher quality products being produced and entering the Swordfish market. Our local producers will also have a fair chance to compete against international companies by filing anti-corrupt competition lawsuits for unfair mergers that would hurt the local market. Fairness will be established in our marketplace. And new council to oversee media releases. President Reign has signed a decree that creates the Swordfish Supreme Council of Radio and Television. The council, consisting of state television officials and media professionals handpicked by the administration, will officially oversee all media publishing to ensure the validity of the information through a fact-checking process. The Palace wants to ensure the citizens receive accurate and correct information. This act is welcomed in a day and age where Swordfish citizens are ever more susceptible to foreign influence and biased media organizations. And the central bank liberated from the top 1%. The President of Swordland, Anton Reign, has declared that the central bank will be under the administration of the state. For so long, the central bank has been controlled by the elite few with their huge fortune that was made on the back of hard-working Swordfish people. With their interest lies not in the good of the country, but rather in themselves. They have been nothing but puppets, dancing to the influences of outside nations such as Circassia and Lesbia. The President's actions today have severed the strings of control from them, moving Swordland to a powerful, independent nation as a whole. And last but not least, President in control of the judiciary. President Reign announced that he has exercised his new authority under the new constitution and dismissed the entirety of the Supreme Court, appointing his own preferred justices. President Reign, swayed by anti-socialist and egotistical tendencies, dismissed all 11 of the Supreme Justices on suspicions of corrupt conduct, deliberate obstructions of justice, and unconstitutional behavior, all of which they denied. Orso Hawkers criticized the ruling, said the process was unconstitutional, while the officials from the administration defended the decision, saying the process followed from the recent changes to the Constitution to the point which gave the President the power to impeach and dismiss any act of Supreme Court justice and was completely legal. Awesome. Alright. And from the Radical, welcome to New Swordland, Reign's justice system. Today, all of the 11 justices of the Supreme Court are said to have been replaced by new justices after a spontaneous decision by President Reign. Despite the Supreme Court's corrupt nature, this is a serious blow against Swordland's justice system and its now fragile democracy. We all expected this to happen after the new constitution that gave President Reign sweeping new powers, in particular taking away the immunity of the court, giving him the authority to dismiss any active members. Reign has now shuffled the entire court and replaced him with his own people. This is the justice system of Anton Reign, having complete control over the judiciary. We are afraid that the already grave situation has worsened critically and that Swordland has drifted further away from being democracy. This might as well be the move that will destroy our entire system. Welcome to President Reign's New Swordland. Awesome. Alright, and our last one here is from Geopolitico, circling over Stallport. Patricio Alvarez, Prime Minister of Lesbia, on a scheduled visit to the Republic of Agnolet to meet Prime Minister Van Horten, had failed to get off the plane when it landed on the Stallport International Airport. It is believed that he was too drunk to get off the plane. The assembled dignitaries waited at the airplane at the scheduled hour, but Alvarez's plane did not land. Airport officials reported that it was circling over Stallport. After circling for 2 hours, the plane landed, but Alvarez did not come out. Lesbian officials informed Van Horten that Alvarez was unwell and that the foreign minister would join the meeting instead. Nice. Okay. So that looks like everything. So let's head to Erlery here. Let's see. So we've got a report on the state-of-the-art aircraft enter aircraft inventory. Whatever. Sorlin's Minister of Defense, General Josef Lancia, is reporting that the efforts to modernize our Air Force is complete. According to his report, our existing 410 Sorlin S-13 fighters and Benfey delivery B-34 bombers have been upgraded. The latest technology S-16 fighter jets and Benfey prime delivery BPD-36 bombers. The new bombers have increased range, speed, bomb payloads, along with more sophisticated radar and radio guidance assisted targeting systems, allowing for more precise bombing day or night. Our pilots nicknamed them the Night Herons. Cool. Alright, and let's go have a private meeting with Peter Vectorn. It was a dark, chilly evening when Peter called and asked if we could meet. He gave no details. All he said was that it was important. I drove alone through Holsworth's suburbs till I reached the meeting point he named, 147 Ruick Avenue, number 26, our old campaign headquarters, untouched since denied the election. This was where everything began. I made my way up the dusty staircase to the office building. The light in the second-floor hallway was out, so I used a cigarette lighter to find my way to the wooden door marked 26. I pulled on the handle, but it wouldn't budge. The heavy door had always been a pain to open. Coming. Peter pushed on the door with all his weight and made a screeching sound as it opened. Without further ado, I bid you welcome to this grand nostalgia post by yours truly, Peter Vectorn. He made an exaggerated bow. The dust from the open door was still settling down. You look sentimental yet? I remember it being much cleaner. That's what time does things, my friend. You're looking a little shabbier yourself than you did back then. Over here, remember this. He walked over to his old desk and pointed to the gramophone that had annoyed our neighbors and kept us company for so many late nights. Peter flipped the switch and it filled the room with swing music from the 20s. Oh, be damned, it still works. I thought this office was sold off. No, I've been paying the rent. Too many memories attached to this place to just sell it. And we might use it again soon. He put his hand under the desk and brought a bottle out. He took a swig out of it and passed the bottle to me. I took a swig as well before passing the bottle back to Peter. That's my boy. Peter snapped his fingers to the music while going through the items in the room. They looked virtually unchanged since election night. Come on, have a look around and see if it doesn't bring back memories. I walked over to my old desk, sat down on the squeaky chair, and opened the top drawer. Inside there were a few old coins, pencils, and sheets of paper. Underneath them, something caught my eye. It was a photograph of me and Monica sitting under a tree. This must have been 10, maybe 15 years ago. We looked so young and so happy. Monica would love to see this. It's fine. Look at baby Anton. You didn't even have your iconic look. I took the photograph and slid it into my jacket pocket. I walked over to the tower of storage boxes and opened one of them. One of the storage boxes, I found a heavy object wrapped safely. I unwrapped it. It was an emerald-colored statue of a goat, the symbol of Sorlin. I remember that this was a gift from Brenda, one of the 53 election campaign assistants. It would look good on my desk in the palace. Brenda. Always sucking up to you. Where did it get her? Seriously, where? I have no idea where she ended up. I lifted the storage box with the statue in it, and I put it near the door so I could take it on the way out. I made my way next to the gramophone and started flipping through the records next to it. Found one of my favorite albums ever, Mountains by Janet Kurtz. A set of plaintive folk songs made me yearn for the countryside whenever I heard it. What a classic. You should mail it to Frank so you can learn what the real music is. Sure. I pulled the record out, put it under my arm, placed it next to the door. Alright, enough going through old stuff. Let's talk. Yes, all in good time. He gestured to the bottle he had in his hand. No, I'm good. I still gotta drive, bro. He shrugged, took a very big gulp out of the bottle, and staggered to the side afterwards. I know you, Peter. What are you hiding? Nothing. Let's go up to the roof. The view is always amazing from up there. We went up the stairs to the roof. The view was mesmerizing. Buildings of all sorts twinkled below us, while the stars shone bright in the sky. He sat and leaned back against the wall, taking it all in. Right as I was starting to get up, I heard a sobbing sound. I turned to Peter and saw tears streaming down his cheeks. I have not yet seen a night sky beautiful enough to make Peter Vectrin cry. He wiped the tears away and laughed. Messed up, Anton. I messed up big time. Evelyn's leaving me. She wants a divorce. I'm not surprised. No, I guess you shouldn't be. I've been sleeping with Livia Suno. Yeah, I had a feeling about you two. You weren't exactly subtle about it. We got careless, I know. I'm so sorry. It's just, Evelyn hasn't been the same since she lost her job, and Livia's given me sultry looks from the day I hired her. You're away, I was drunk, one thing led to another. And she's more than just a pretty girl, I thought. She's smart and kind. I think we really connected. I mean, I like her too, but that doesn't mean I break my vows, risk scandal for a bit of horizontal polo. The worst euphemism, that's great. I know, but we're ending things. I told her it's too unprofessional. I want Evelyn back. I still can't believe this. I had to have you both fired. Anton, please, I'm begging you. There's an edge of desperation in Peter's voice. He took another drink. How many years have we known each other? How many scrapes have we gotten ourselves out of? I can handle this. Just trust me. I turned to face my friend and vice president. The habits that had gotten him dubbed the bad boy of Sorge politics when we were younger were no longer so charming, coming from a middle-aged man. Yet he was still a capable politician. I couldn't ignore our long history together. Let's see. I know we're supposed to arrest him, but that's not really a thing that matters until the rest of the scandal comes out. So it's fine. Alright, it's just an affair and it's over at that. We can weather this. Thank you, Anton. That means a lot to me. Don't mention it. I mean it. Don't mention it. Without waiting for his reaction, I left the rooftop alone and made my way downstairs. On my way out, I grabbed my belongings, took one last look at the office. It had been home to some happy memories for sure, but this visit permanently cured me of any nostalgia. As soon as I arrived home, I headed up to my study, sat down, and stared at the telephone. And obviously we're going to talk to Lucien because he's our strategist. We need to be able to deal with this. I picked up the phone and dialed Lucien's number. He picked up very quickly.
Yes, Mr. President.
Told Lucien everything Peter told me about himself, Evelyn, and Livia.
Thank you for calling me, Mr. President. The service confirms his suspicions of my own. We have to meet.
All right now?
Tomorrow morning in office, early, before either of the two arrive. Don't bring this up with anyone else. I fear we may have more than a mere dalliance on our hands.
The line dropped. I stared at the receiver, wondering what his last statement meant. What was going on that I didn't know about? I went to bed, but I couldn't sleep at all. Fantastic. Alright, well, that seems like as good a spot as any to call for today, though. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see y'all next time.